Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the World of Wayne. Today I'm going to be doing stages 57 to 62 of the Fanhome release of Build the World of Warcraft Lich King. Now, before we get into that, did you see my Andrew Probert interview yesterday? I was so thrilled with that, and you only saw a bite-sized chunk of that. There is actually the full interview coming later in the week. I'm sure you're going to appreciate that, but that is over on the link at the end of the video. You'll be able to check that out. Now, today, I believe we started making the joints in the last pack of this, so I'm thinking we're going to be continuing doing that today. If you want to get this for yourself, I don't know if it's available. I have put a link in the video description. We do have the QR code on the screen. Let's find out what we're doing without further ado. Let's get cracking. Okay, stage 57. Here is the instruction with all the lore of Azeroth. And we are the upper structure of the left arm we're going to be doing now. So we are going to be taking what we have already created here and putting this into the arm joint here. Okay, let's do this. So just to jog your memory, this is where we had got to before. And here is stage 57. Not a lot in this pack by the look of it. That's it. So we've got some LP screws. Let me get my screwdriver out at the ready. And it looks like what we're going to do is just take these two parts, put them together like that. And I'm putting these in with 4 of the LP screws. So both this model and the Darth Vader model have real material that's going over the top. So I'm guessing we're going to be dressing them like a doll or something at the end. We have seen some of this material already on those two builds. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Darth Vader build tomorrow. We might as well keep it a theme with figure models for the last 2 days of this week. But there you go, that's all there is to do in that stage. So stage 58. Here's the instructions. Obviously, you can pause this through flicking so you can read these articles. I'm sure that's fine. Left arm joint. So we've got another joint here. Lots of things going on this joint. So that's looking like that. We do get to attach this as well. There's the rest of the magazine. And here is stage 58. Let's get all this out. Okay, first thing they want me to do is just close this area off that we've been creating. So this is just going to be going over the top like that. I'm going to hold these two parts in with KP screws. So one there and one here. And now we're ready to create the next part of the joint. So that means I need these two parts here. Now we do have a little ratchet on this section, which is actually going to be going onto that section just there. So to put this all together, we have got a bolt and a nut here. Now that's going to be going out the bottom of this section here. So it's fitting flush, holding it there. Put the ratchet part on top with the L, because it's linked as a left side facing towards me. And we are doing a lot of things at once here, because now I'm just going to gently put that down. I want to take this section here and the spring. We did have a lot of fun with this spring last time, because I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing in here. I've got to try and get this in. This is going to be a bit tricky. So, well, let's see how we get on. I think if I remember right, the best way to do this is actually to put this part in first. So I'm going to try it that way first. I'm going to try it this way. I've lined up the spring and put that in first like that. Then I'm going to put this down. I don't know if this is going to work. And try and then... So the way I've done this is basically I've put pliers on this end so I can keep this spring square. Now this spring does need to fit in the channel there. As you see at the moment it's slightly warped off. So even though I've got that in, I am going to need to condense the spring to get this all the way in properly. This ain't easy. Okay, that took 20 minutes to get that in. 20 minutes to get in. As you can see, it's in properly though, which means that obviously the spring is inside this part here. That was crazy. Okay, now I can put everything back together the way it was. So put this back through here, get this ratchet down, and I'm pushing this into place, which means I'm going to push this back panel back. I can't believe how hard that bit is to do. I'm probably going to have to do that for the other arm as well. What a nightmare. Right, okay. Obviously, I don't want this pinging out all over the place now, so I do get to put the top cover on, just like this. And I've got some HM screws here, which I'm going to screw in on either side here to keep this top cover in. And then finally, I've got the nut just going in on the top here. And then I do have this little tool to help make this nice and tight. That's perfect. Can't believe how hard that was. Right, this is actually going to go in what we've created now. So I'm going to be wanting it this way round, just over this section here. And I've got these flange screws. I need 4 of these to put this in. And with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. So stage 59. Here's the instructions. Again, all the Azeroth lore there. And oh my God, we've got to do it again. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, okay. We're going to create another joint here and putting this together just like that. And it looks like we're actually going to start attaching this to the body section here. So there is a lot to do in just this one stage, which makes a difference from this build. So if it took me 20 minutes to get one spring in, am I going to have that same problem again? I think before I do anything in these instructions, I think I am just going to, well, we'll see. We'll see. I think I can safely assume that I've got to do exactly the same thing here. I'm going to do this bit first. Now these springs here are the same size. So let me get this bit in, because this is the bit that I was struggling with last time to get into here. Oh, okay. I am finding getting some needle pliers and just feeding it into the spring there, which will keep it centered into this bit when I'm trying to push this in. I'm finding that helps a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Oh my God. I did it in 5 minutes. If anyone knows an easy way to get these in, please put it in the comments. Right, I'm going to do this in the order we're meant to do this now. The reason I'm wanting to get that out of the way, because that was stressing me big time. Right. I want to take this ball joint. I'm going to be putting this into this metal section here. So it's coming out the other side just like that. Then on top of this, I've got a little sheath section here. Like a bush, which is going to go in this way. Just into the top. And then in this cavity, I'm going to be putting a spring. And I'm going to be closing it off by putting this side on here. Now this does go round in a certain order. If I've got this way round with this on top, then this goes that way. So then this is going to be going on the end, just like this here, and it's held in with OM screws. So if that's 2 that I've put on for this arm, that means I'm going to have 2 to put on the other side. Oh, that's deflating. They really are so hard to put on. Get these nice and tight though. So what we've just created is going to be going on here just like this at the top, and I'm going to be putting the pin through here just like last time. Make sure it goes all the way through. I just need me pliers to ensure that I turn it into the position where that cavity is, because I do want it to fit flush in there. There you go, that's in. Once again, I'm going to be closing off this side by putting this on. That now ensures that that's not going to pop out. And I've got the HM screws once again to hold that section in. One there. And one this side here. And then finally, once again, I've got the nuts just going on the top here. And I'll tighten this up with this tool. Excellent. So another joint is complete. So I'm just going to move everything over here and bring up the actual body section. We haven't seen this for a while. And that is looking just like this here. Lovely. Okay, and I do want it the way round that I've actually got it here. because I am actually going to be putting this section we've just created in here just like this. So it's able to slide in here, as you can see there. Now I'm holding that in with EM screws. Now there is a lot of metal going in here. So I have put lots of oil on this. Now you do want to make sure these are in all the way. So I have tightened this with my PH1 screwdriver here. It will stop the wobble, but it will still enable it to move like this. Now we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. This is actually going to be going on like this here. I wonder why this side is going to be different from this side. Bit weird, unless we're going to be attaching all of this later on. Once again though, we're using these flange screws. And there you go. Oh, this is able to move out and in as well. This is what it looks like on that side. That's all there is to do in that stage. Now I'm guessing the last stages here aren't as much because the packs don't look like they've got much in them. But at the moment, the recording time for this is already 40 minutes. That's 20 minutes each, or 20 minutes and 10 minutes of trying to get that screw in. So we've got the upper back cover here now, which we're going to be putting in. Lots of screws here. And putting this together just like that. This is really starting to come along now. Here's the rest of the magazine. And this is where once again Fanhome have pulled out the great blimmin' can't get it right. They've sent me two 61s. Okay, so I haven't got stage 60, so I can't do the section that they want me to do, which is basically joining these two together. How many times do we have this problem? This is just really winding me up now. Okay, so we can't do stage 60. Let's see what stage 61's got. So stage 61, here's the instructions. It wants me to fit this, which I can't do because obviously we're missing stage 60, so I can't put that whole panel together. And look how good that's going to look. Oh, unbelievable. And stage 62 is here. Let's see if I can do that. Stage 62, I can do stage 62 because we're adding a bit onto the arm section that we've done. So there's my consolation. I'm going to talk about this in a second. So basically the way this is going to go, it's actually just going to be slotting into the bottom just like that. It's held in with two KP screws. So we would have had the full front of the body on had we not had that other cock up here. I am just so annoyed with that because it's not just this build. The picking errors from Fanhome are absolutely atrocious in the EU at the moment. And if I'm getting this, then I'm guessing it's not just me. And again, please put in the comments. Please feel free to put in the comments if you are getting these sort of picking errors. But there we go. That's that stage complete. Not much to do on that stage. But this is unacceptable. 4 times with the Red Bull we've had exactly the same things. I can't see how there's a problem. I don't know how they pick these. I really don't know how they pick these. It's not Fanhome. I know it's not Fanhome. It's the distributor company or logistic company that they're using for that. But that's ridiculous. So now I've got to go through the whole rigmarole of logging it online, taking a picture of it to show that I've got 2, waiting for the next pack to come, and hopefully that one's going to be there if it's not out of stock. I'm frustrated. Not a nice way to end it, but there you go. Hopefully Darth Vader's better tomorrow. I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.